So, welcome to the monthly community meeting for Akri. So, uh, this is recorded. So, if you don't want to be recorded, then go off camera or well out of the meeting as usual. Um, and we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct. So, the agenda is quite limited for now. First thing, there is the CFP notification for the collocated KubeCon, for the collocated events. Is it the deadline for submission or for notification of whether
Yeah,
it's
it's just the
okay or not?
notification. So Kate and I submitted a talk. So we're hoping to hear back August 26th. And I think that will give us a good idea of like, do we need to prepare stuff for KubeCon? What do we need to do? I also did sign up for a booth. But if I don't end up getting the talk, we'll see if I can still go. So yeah, that will kind of determine.
Okay. So from what I see on the previous notes, there was the idea of getting a release quite soon. So I guess that's why we want to have some scenarios for a bug bash. Or
Yeah, so I know we said like August release last time, but I think that is ambitious. I think a good timeline for us would probably be to get a release before the next KubeCon. So by mid-November, I feel like that's pretty reasonable. Um, and I think, yeah, like the agent refactoring work that you did, um, we should definitely bug bash some scenarios for that. And so, yeah, I was hoping that we can discuss some of the bug bash scenarios and what are the edge cases that we need to test. And then maybe async, we can put together a doc that people can try and bug bash.
yeah, definitely. There is another PR in that is a follow-up PR for the agent refactor. So maybe we can wait for this one, because basically it uh, removes everything related to the um, series CTL dependency, CRI CTL dependency. So as we don't have this anymore, then it makes it way easier to deploy. And on the bug bash, the main thing we need to look for is regressions, because in theory there should be no change in behavior except for the fact that we don't need that dependency anymore. And yeah, I would
Sorry.
like, I would even like if we can get it earlier than November, maybe September would, end of September
Yeah,
would be really great, because then uh, we would have the release before, way before KubeCon, and have everyone start to test it before.
yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, so we definitely need to test all the examples and GMOs that we have, so to ensure that we don't have any blatant regression that we didn't catch with the end-to-end tests or the basic tests we did.
Besides the current demos and samples, are there other like edge cases that we need to look for?
Um, well, main edge cases would be related to the slots reclaim system. So ensure that uh, we do things correctly when it goes for rapid use and well, yeah, rapid use and then uh, reclaim of the slot, like something that spawns lasts for a very short time and then respawns something else that we'll use. So that's the main uh, well, that's the biggest change overall. So and the uh, least tested one because it's not easy to test in the end-to-end, well, in the automated workflow.
How would we test for the slot reclaim?
Well, in manual testing, you basically ensure that the slots get cleared after that in the instance, and that it gets correctly. If you have multiple nodes, that it gets correctly updated on the other nodes, and but on that's what makes it more difficult in automated because it's not easy to uh, get this all well defined. There's a lot of timing involved and everything because the reclaim process goes every 20 seconds, I guess, if I remember correctly. So, um, yeah, that's. I think we are going to make a document as we do usually and try to get it filled with, I would say, a decent amount of scenarios, but not too much because uh, we are not, well, I'm not, we need to have an amount of scenario that we can test since, well, it seems everyone is pretty busy currently.
Yeah, maybe we can do like three, 3 to 4 scenarios, and then we can have those as options. So we can be like, please try to test as many of these as possible.
Yeah. There will be also documentation updates with this update. Um, Basically still related to the agent refactor on the CRI CTL dependency removal. So it changes a lot in the documentation because everything that was like you have to specify the Kubernetes distribution is now gone. So you don't need to specify that anymore. So a lot of changes to expect in the documentation there, and I know that Kate wanted to enable multiple versions of the documentation so that people using older versions still have access to the part saying, okay, this is how you configure the CRI CTL socket and everything. So I didn't check if she did that already.
All right.
And then second item on the agenda is the demo for Akri and Shifu integration. So I guess you added this one, Tom.
Yep. Okay, so should I get started? Okay. Let me just share my screen. Can you guys see it? So I've prepared a few slides for this, so I'm just gonna walk through this. So yeah, so today I'll be showcasing the Shifu Akri integration. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Tom. I'm the co-creator of Shifu, also co-founder of Genesis. So here's today's agenda, the list of items. So I'll just get right into it. Um, So the reason why we're integrating Shifu and Akri or make Shifu Akri compatible is because we believe that this integration will bring support for various protocols, custom protocols or devices, protocols like MQTT, Siemens S7, Modbus, lightweight machine-to-machine, even WebRTC, and also we have a variety of ready-to-use device drivers. So also, we believe that Shifu is Shifu standardizes the way we implement the Akri broker. So it virtualizes. So I'll get into more detail on the next slide, but that's the second thing. And the third thing is Shifu is already in production and connecting to more than 2 million devices at the edge, most of them being cameras at this moment. And we have about 300,000 deployments that are running currently. So those are just the overview of why we're doing this. And then a little bit of introduction of Shifu. So Shifu is a Kubernetes native IoT gateway. So it uses the same concept, basically virtualizes devices into Kubernetes pods. We call it the device Shifu. So basically what the device provides, whether if it's control or whether if it's readings, it will just virtualizes them into a set of APIs. So within the Kubernetes pods or within the device Shifu, there is the driver of the device, which communicates to the IoT devices using their native protocols or native languages. Also, there is a layer 7 proxy, which communicates to applications. So for now, most of our users or developers uses the HTTP proxy, but we also have layer 7 proxies that are in MQTT or gRPC that are still in development. And then the fourth one is we have embedded function as a service, currently supports Python. So this way you can actually embed some of the device specific logics and also to clean the data or transform the data at the edge. So making sure that everything comes out of the pod or everything comes out of device Shifu is clean and ready to be used or ready to be piped into your database or data store. And lastly, we manage devices using Kubernetes CRDs. The Kubernetes CRD of Shifu is called Edge Device. So that's just an overview of Shifu. So the goal for this integration is to use Akri as the management plane for device discovery and device status management, and also to use Shifu as the control and data plane. So Shifu would be actually doing the connecting to the devices and to collect and manage the device. So, so here's the process of how we do the integration. So as you can see from the left side, this is the Akri instance. I'm not sure if you can see this clear. It's kind of small, but on the left side is the Akri instance. On the right side is the Shifu edge device. So they both describe kind of the same thing. So they just describe the IP address or which endpoints are connecting to, and then some of the device configurations. And also in edge device, we also describe if you're using specific certificates or encryption methods to connect to endpoints like OPC UA or Siemens S7. So things like that. So the first step is to make Shifu edge device and Akri instance interoperable. So the whole process goes like this. So I'll go from left bottom to upper right. So first we have the outer device. It could be device in various protocols or even proprietary drivers. We actually implement the custom Akri device discovery handler. Um, for the handler part, we will just use basic TCP or whichever the device supports to sort of like just do a TCP ping or UDP ping, things like that. And then after we discover the device, we'll use the Akri APIs to create an Akri instance. So up until this point, everything is still Akri. But after we create the Akri instance, we don't deploy any brokers at this stage. Instead, we use the Shifu controller to listen to the Akri instance event and use that plus the Akri instance configurations or the provided information or the config map to deploy and manage device Shifu, which actually communicates with the device and connects to whichever application you're using. So the application can collect data from it or control the device. So that's the basic process of this. And then I actually have a demo. So today, so this is the basic architecture of the demo. So I have three devices, RTSP camera, Siemens S7 PLC, which are used in industrial use cases. And also we have an LED display that uses OPC And then in this demo, we developed two discovery handlers, basic ones. One's for RTSP, one's for S7. And then for the OPC UA one, we just use the Acri provided one. And also within the cluster, we have an Nginx pod. That's just, we use the curl command from it. So this is the demo setup. And unfortunately today I'm traveling, so I'm not able to show you the demo, live demo, but I've pre-recorded everything on Monday. So I'm just gonna go through this and then switch back and tell you which step am I at. So um, yeah, so you can see here. So I have this is an empty cluster running on my MacBook. I believe this is a kind cluster. So it's clean, it's just all I have to do is kind create cluster. And then I'll begin by installing Shifu. This installs all the customs resource definitions and all the service accounts and everything we need for Shifu. And then it should deploy a Shifu controller. But this is as you can see, this is the current release of Shifu. So everything we've done, including the Akri instance listening part, is done in a private bench. We haven't merged that into the main Shifu project yet, so we'll do that later. So now we'll have to deploy another controller later to override this. But yeah, I'm using the official version from the repository. So once the Shifu controller is up, we're going to deploy three Acri discovery handlers, OPCUA, RTSP, and RSS7. And then if you look at the value file, I'm probably going to skip this. So the value file has two handlers. One's custom. We actually wrote that. That's for RTSP, and one's for OPCUA. We'll just use the embedded one. And so as you can see here, we have only two configured in the values.yaml, and we're going to deploy the third one using a daemon configuration plus Akri configuration. So since Akri can only deploy one custom discovery handler from the Helm installation, we're going to use a workaround. Thanks, Nicholas, for providing that information. So we'll be deploying, yeah, this is the daemon configuration. So here's the Akri configuration. Also, we are providing the detail from it. The discovery handler is S7, and then the discovery detail is the IP address or the address for that PLC. And then after applying those, we should see, yeah, we can see three Akri configurations here. And then if we get the Akri instance, you can see 3. So 3 has been discovered. But if we look at the cluster, there should be no broker being deployed because we didn't specify any brokers. So what I'm going to do now is to deploy the configuration for Shifu. So this configuration is for Shifu to use to connect the devices. So in addition to the driver or the IP address, we also need a set of configurations that describes what the um, device's API is, what the device's abilities, what device API mappings, things like that. So we first create a secret that's just for connecting to the camera, and then we deploy 3 config maps for different device shifus. So this one's for RTSP. As you can see, we have 2 instructions. That means 2 APIs. One's called capture, which returns a static image. One's called stream, that returns a continuous stream from the camera. And then for the OPC we have instruction mappings. So each API will be mapped to a specific OPC node ID. You can get from that node ID, or you can post to update that node ID if it's updatable. And then for the S7, it's also done from a driver, I believe. So we have a few instructions. So we can set input output. I mean, probably just set the output of the PLC, which is, you got to be careful with that. But also we have an API that gets the CPU status or get the memory content from the PLC and things like that. And after that, we are going to deploy the Shifu controller. But before that, we'll do a kubectl get pods. As you can see here, we have the Akri agent, the Akri controller, and all the discovery handlers, but there's no device Shifu. And now we're going to deploy the controller that listens to those Akri instance events. And that after that, there should be 3 device Shifu being deployed. Yeah. And then yeah, as you can see here now, we have 3 device Shifus, one for each device, one for each discovery handler. And then once they're all up and running, I will deploy a Nginx dummy pod to use for testing and debugging. And then once that's up and running, I'm going to port forward the RTSP stream so I can view it in the browser. Yeah, I'm just making sure that the server's name is correct. Yeah, I'm going to open the browser and go to that URL. Yeah, so here's the camera, and then it's a continuous stream from the camera. And then on the left side, there's the PLC. It's a Siemens PLC, I believe it's 1200. And then on the right side, where it displays 1999, that's the audio display that's using OPC protocol. And then I'm going to change the output of the PLC and also the output of the OPC display. So here, from our driver, we can actually modify each single bit of the output. So I believe I first turn on the first output, so set it to 1. So there should be an LED that lit up. Yeah, this one that just lit up. So it's the third one from the top, and then I'm going to turn that off. Yeah. So as you can see here, the commands I'm using is just basic HTTP crawls using that same instruction we've configured in the config map. And then I can just change the bits and to make it turn off more bits. So turn off all the bits. So all the outputs are out. And so that's for the PLC. And then next, I'm going to interact with the LED output. So by posting to that endpoint, I can set it to any number I want. So I believe I set it to 29.99. I can change it to 49.99. Yeah. So that's just the demo itself. So yeah, and then so what's next for Shifu? Uh this Akri meeting is actually part of the next step. So we're going to discuss and draft the integration proposal for Shifu. And after that, we're going to draft an integration PR into Shifu. So make Shifu Akri compatible and reform Akri instances. And I also submitted a cover proposal with Nicholas for KubeCon for this particular integration. And then lastly, Shifu will be adapting to the Web of Things standard. So since we're already part of the initiative by Siemens, so we're going to add that Web of Things into the device Shifu. So the config map you're seeing now will be Web of Things compatible. And then some additional information. So we have the Shifu project repository. We have the white paper with SUSE. This one has a lot more technical detail. This one's written by me and Andrew Gracie from SUSE. And lastly, that's my email address if you have any problems or questions. Yeah, that's all I'm showing. So any questions, all are welcome. Yeah.
Just quick question is more for organizational thing. Is this slide deck public? So if so, can you maybe add a link to it into the
Yeah, I'll be posting that
meeting
into the
notes?
hack and the
Yeah, thank you. And would this be well, something that can be envisioned to have when, well, if that makes sense, to have Acri kind of give the information needed to generate that config map? Or would it be something that you think wouldn't make any sense?
Well, it depends on the approach Akri is taking for the discovery handler. Um, because we have to think of a way to provide device specific information from the discovery handler in order to do that, right? So
Yeah,
that's why
that's
we're
something we
yeah.
we we kind of envisioned in the past, to have more information exposed by the discovery handler. Say, for
Mm,
example, some capabilities of the device, or some more
yes.
identifying things like maybe serial numbers or anything.
Yeah,
So I was wondering if well, I don't know if there are any protocols that already kind of says, here is my I don't know, web of thing description, and here you go. But
yeah, I mean, if Akri adapts to Web of Things, it's
yeah,
doable. And also, if I'm not sure if Akri supports lightweight machine to machine. So that's something that kind of supports it. If you look into the lightweight machine to machine repository, it has some predefined objects. So if the device complies to that standard, you can use a lightweight machine to machine to spin up everything from Acri side.
yeah. Currently,
Um,
the trend for us is more like to not have more discovery handler embedded, and more like go in kind of the Prometheus way of saying, okay, here is a list of community supported discovery handlers,
okay.
and
Yeah, it's up to the developers. Yeah.
So, but if
Mhm.
we end up getting more, like, I don't know, a way to kind of say ideally you should provide this kind of information when you write a discovery handler,
Yep.
so that it makes it relevant to be used by things like Shifu. It would, I think, this kind of knowledge would be interesting, because when we
Yep.
do discovery, we say, okay, this is what we need to talk to the device, and we focus on that. But maybe there are other information that are more relevant to the next elements in the chain, and that you
Mhm.
may be more aware of than we are.
Yeah, if it's protocol, then it's probably doable. But if it's proprietary driver,
Yeah,
we have to think of some way. Yeah. If it's protocol, then probably but it can be done by value mapping, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, kind of the so, and the other thing I was thinking of is what exactly does the um Shifu controller when it listens to Akri instances, because
Hmm.
there is another. We have a proposal in Akri that is basically saying uh, we want to be able to deploy other things than just pods or jobs,
Yeah.
and I was wondering if this wouldn't make kind of a well, the job twice in this instance.
Hmm.
So would this make the part of the controller you are currently writing kind of obsolete if we have this feature or not?
Um, I don't think it's gonna make it obsolete. It depends on the
Okay.
implementation. For now, Shifu only manages Shifu related resources. As you can
Yeah.
see, it's so transforming devices into APIs. If Akri is able to spawn other resources, not just deployments, if Akri is able to spawn the full stack, I believe you can just use the Shifu existing Shifu drivers or protocol brokers directly. But currently the project Shifu requires a Shifu custom resource definition in order for it to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that all? I see that uh, Ethan and those two just joined. So, well, during your presentation, I don't know if they have something to add to the agenda. Otherwise, we kind of at the end of it. I don't know if we had any bugs pending that needs triage. I'm going to look for it.
I don't have anything specific to add to the agenda.
Yeah, we have one bug in triage that is needing triage. So I'm going to, unless someone wants to do the bug triage part, or has something to add before we go to bug triage. Okay, so I will share my screen if I manage to do this correctly. Um, yeah, oh, if it wants to. Okay, and this one. Okay, so we only have one issue that is in needing triage. That is this one. So this is one of the developer of Glasscube, from what I understand. That is basically um, asking if we would like to add Glasscube support to as a well to add Glasscube as a way to install Akri. So I see that Kate already answers something. I don't know what is Glasscube. I don't know if any of you already know about it or used it or anything. No. So I don't really know what we could, what we would like to do with that uh, issue. Maybe put it in backlog because I don't think that's something we have planned to do right now.
Yeah, can I just see what Kate wrote?
Yeah. So yeah, she's asking more details about uh, how it works.
I think, yeah, we can put it in backlog. If they respond and it seems like an easy fix, maybe we can move it into investigating.
Yeah, I'll put it into backlog. Uh, is there any issue someone want us to discuss? Maybe the one that is already there somewhere that someone want to highlight or anything? No. Okay.
Not for me.
So I think we are at the end of our agenda, and unless someone has anything to add, I think we can call this a day and be 20 minutes earlier than the end uh, time.
Ethan, did you have anything to share about the monthly metrics? Probably nothing interesting, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's pretty stable.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Um, yeah, Tom, thank you for sharing the presentation demo. It was super cool. Hope, we all get to collaborate a little more. And I'd be really interested to, see the proposals that come later on.
Thanks. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Tom, for this demo as well. And then I think we can call this day. Thanks for coming, everyone, and we'll see each other next month.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.